Good evening, I'm the manager for dwpcorruption.co.uk, and with me tonight I've got Mr Alan Darby, who's been my co-partner in the investigations carried out pertaining to the crimes that we've been talking about over the last few weeks. I'd like to introduce you to Alan once again. Hi Alan, how you doing, mate?
Fine, Martin. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too. What new evidence have we got, and what can we talk about tonight that the public are going to find interesting, apart from the fact that we've got overwhelming evidence once again to say that the judicial system and Gordon Brown is just totally corrupt, and it's unforgivable what this man is doing to this country? What do you reckon?
I totally agree. I think what we've got to look at is the promise that goes back to 1997 when Tony Blair took over office and he promised all the people of the UK to be tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime. How he was going to do that, he is a liar himself, as is his wife. And when we look at the viability of the legal system, it's in utter disarray. It's totally and endemically corrupt. It has got no legal or moral virtues whatsoever. And I'd like to, in this video, explain and show the members of the public just what they are dealing with when we turn around and deal with the legal system, both criminal and civil.
Interesting stuff. And I believe you've got some information on Lord Denning.
Indeed.
What's all that about then?
Indeed. If I can show the viewers the book, this is one of his autobiographies, one of many. There it is, Lord Denning. And he says, The Due Process of Law. It's by Butterworth if anyone's interested to buy it, but I wouldn't recommend it. However, I have read another autobiography by this man, and I would like to quote a reference from the book which applies to Martin and myself, what we're doing, and it gives some idea of the depth of the corruption and depravity that these people go to. They're hypocrites. And I'll read a small chapter. As we are to the wind of criticism, nothing which is said by this person or that, nothing which is written by this pen or that, will deter us from doing what the occasion requires, provided that it is pertinent to the matter in hand. Silence is not an option when things are ill done. Silence is not an option when things are ill done. We all have a duty to each other to expose crime. It is not an option. You have got a common purpose, a common duty to each other to tell the authorities when ill is being done. That's a standard practice in any democracy with a good legal system. We are all each other's minders. We are all responsible for each other. And the politicians that we vote for make the laws, and we all have to abide by them. There is no one above the law. Nobody.
So am I right in saying then, where Gordon Brown's concerned and the judicial system, obviously we've known for a long time that the government have got corrupt advisors, and where Gordon Brown's concerned anyway, he's got corruption writ across his face, and the same as Tony Blair. What was the situation that we discovered a few weeks ago with regards these aids of corruption for Gordon Brown with the housing situation that we've been talking about?
Okay, if I may, I'll just read a letter that was written by a QC to the Times on the 16th of March 09, which is recently. We're still in March at the moment while this video is being made, and I'll read it. Sir, in recent articles in the New Law Journal, Professor Michael Zander QC reviewed the experience over the past 10 years of the change made on the Lord Wolf to civil procedure. He concluded that the changes were largely marked by failure, bringing increased costs to litigants. That is, people who use the judicial system, they are litigants. Unpredictable judicial inconsistencies increase the complexity and increase the overall delay. Those of us experienced in the law will appreciate that. If anything, Professor Zander is being too kind. The so-called reforms have been largely responsible for the denial of proper access to justice. for most members of the public. As a direct consequence of that, the once very fine English civil legal system has been all but destroyed. I will read that again. As a direct consequence to that, the once very fine English legal system has been all but destroyed. This is from a QC, a man that works in these premises,
And
in the legal system.
I can back that up with a statement with our old friend Roy Jenkins from Get Snoots at the Truck Party. He had a legal situation whereby he was in court, and his judge, or the judge I should say, and the defence were doing deals under the table. And I think, you know, when you hear stories like this, you know, people are put into such position that you can't help but recognise the blatant corrupt society that we live in, especially with government, where you would expect better. You know, and that's why the country's in the state that it is. We look at the MPs, you know, we look at the corruption. We've got stories on site with Mike O'Brien, you know, he's more corrupt than Dylan Rodney up on his bills and horses. Joking apart, you know, you look at the Staffordshire MP for Canuck, Tony Wright, and you know, this guy, Tony Wright, he actually works for government in Government House, and he's there as an advisor for anybody who's got complaints. What I find fascinating there is the fact that this bloke's into money laundering. He's backing and supporting the crooks in government, being Gordon Brown, the Fabian Society, Tony Blair, and everybody else that follows as MPs. And you know, I'm not going to make any apologies for the MPs who aren't corrupt, but the people that should be concerned here are the MPs that are genuine and can come forward and stop backing and supporting the Fabian Society and the corrupt judicial system. So you need to start to think, MEPs, MPs, of what you can do to put this problem right. And you know, it moves on from there, doesn't it, Alan? What else have we got?
I'll conclude the letter because QC Lawrence concludes that, as with all human institutions, the former regime had some inefficiencies. In a minority of cases, the present system had its inability, inaccessible, determined effects on all cases. The public should not be misled by the enthusiasts who have a real interest in perpetrating the present system. It is time for a radical rethink. Lawrence West QC, London EC4. Now that has come from a top barrister. If he turns round and gives the public a warning that these people have a hidden interest, and that interest is, as Martin and myself discuss quite regular, I've been introduced to it, is common purpose. There is a common purpose set in motion where people are trained not to abide by the rule of law. They have their own agenda. It's nothing to do with justice, nothing to do with the rights and wrongs of the welfare of and the best interests of the public. It is a common interest for them to be able to rule us without having access to challenge them or win any cases. And this is the situation we're in now. We're in a no-win situation. The courts are endemically corrupt, and I will go as far as to turn around and say those that are in power have been put there for one purpose, and it's a common purpose, to protect their best interests. Nothing to do with the public. The country is in a state that is derived from the common purpose process, which they protect each other. The police won't arrest bank managers who are stealing. They won't arrest solicitors. The Law Society covers up the crimes. The courts administrate bad law. It has got nothing to do with justice. They are unfit for purpose, as is the legal system per se.
So it's unlawful willing blindness. Totally.
Yes, indeed.
And this is why these cretins and these MPs are getting away with exactly what they're getting. Is it any wonder that the sites that like DWP Corruption and TPUC.org, John Harris and Common Law is taking off the ground like it is? We're going to be back with you in just a minute.